What's up everybody, my name is Joe, I'm from Mattress Clarity. Today I'm going to be comparing and contrasting the Loom and Leaf and Lull mattresses. I'm going to be going over the similarities of the two mattresses, the differences, the construction differences, letting you know what type of sleeper should get one over the other. By the end of the video you can have a pretty good idea of which one you might want to get, so stay tuned. Let's get things started by talking about what's similar between these two mattresses. Number one, they're both very popular mattresses. Both come with great customer service, very customer-friendly policies, things like sleep night trials, things of that nature. They're both all-foam mattresses. They have a pretty similar base layer, and they do contain some memory foam in them. Now let's talk about what's different between these two mattresses. Number one is price. Depending on the discounts of the day, the Lull is going to be over $500 less expensive than the Loom and Leaf is for a queen. There's also materials differences. The Loom and Leaf is going to be thicker overall. It's got a thicker comfort layer. It's got 2 inches of memory foam, over 2.5 inches of more memory foam, then a transition layer, then a base layer. The Lull has 1.5 inches of gel memory foam over a transition layer, over a base layer. There's going to be some firmness differences. I think the Lull is going to be a little bit firmer than the Loom and Leaf is. I think most would agree with that. There's also going to be some feel differences as well. Just given that you have so much more memory foam with the Loom and Leaf, it's going to have more of that kind of sinking in feel, that true kind of classic memory foam feel, whereas Lull is going to have more of a balanced foam feel overall. Now let's take a look under the hood of both mattresses and see what the differences in construction are. Starting with the Loom and Leaf, got a quilted cover. It's got a little bit of polyfoam mixed into the cover there. Then we have 2 inches of gel memory foam, then 2.5 inches of high density memory foam, then a transition layer, then a base layer. On the Lull over here, we have 1.5 inches of gel memory foam, then a transition layer. It's kind of polyfoam, kind of latex-like, and then a base layer. So let's talk about what the main differences are. The Loom and Leaf is going to be thicker overall, it uses higher density foams. I think it's going to be the more supportive of the two. I think if you sleep on your side and you're heavier, on the Lull you might kind of bottom out where you just have 1.5 inches of that gel memory foam, then a transition layer, whereas you have 4.5 inches of comfort material. It's really nice memory foam material on the Loom and Leaf. So that's just kind of something you note if you're a heavier side sleeper, you may bottom out on the Lull versus the Loom and Leaf where you probably will not. It's also going to be some feel differences here. Just given that you have 4.5 inches of memory foam, you're going to really kind of sink into the Loom and Leaf versus just kind of having a balanced feel overall with the Lull. So really sinking in, it's going to be a little bit firm initially with the memory foam on the Loom and Leaf, but then it's going to kind of just slowly get to work. So it may feel a little bit firm at first, but then kind of slowly get that quick sandy kind of memory foam feel overall. So durability wise, I would definitely say Loom and Leaf is going to be more durable. But as far as like sleeping positions, we'll get to that a little bit later in the video. I kind of think it just depends on your weight. Now let's talk about differences in firmness and feel. As far as firmness is concerned, I put the Lull at about a 7 out of 10, Loom and Leaf about a 6.5 out of 10. Definitely think most people would agree that the Lull is going to be the firmer of the two. As far as feel is concerned, they both are classified as memory foam mattresses, but you have 4.5 inches of memory foam on the Loom and Leaf versus 1.5 inches on the Lull. So you're definitely gonna have more of that memory foam, kind of quick sandy feel. On the Loom and Leaf, you can have some firmness initially, then the memory foam kind of kicks in. Whereas the Lull has more of a balanced foam feel overall. So there are some feel differences there, even though they are both classified as memory foam mattresses. Now I'm going to talk through how I feel in different sleeping positions on both mattresses. Starting on my back, on the Lull, I feel like it's a good match for me. It's about the right firmness. You can kind of feel it kind of reaching up into my lumbar area and supporting lower back. Same with the Loom and Leaf. I feel it's about the right firmness and it's a pretty good match for me from a support perspective as well. Switching on to my side, I feel a little bit of firmness on the Lull. I think it's just a little bit too firm for me. I do feel some pressure on my shoulders. On the Loom and Leaf, you feel some initial pressure, but then it kind of melts away when the memory foam kind of kicks in. So I definitely prefer the Loom and Leaf for side sleeping. Switching onto my stomach now, the Lull is probably the better match for me. I think it's a little bit firmer than the Loom and Leaf. Loom and Leaf probably has too much comfort material versus the Lull, which just has that 1.5 inches of gel memory foam on top. So I feel like I prefer the Lull for stomach sleeping. Mattress Clarity, you're going to see some subjective opinions mixed with some objective tests. One test we really like is a pressure map test. I get down on a pressure map, fly down my backside and stomach, and you see anywhere from blue to no pressure all the way up to red to high pressure. You see exactly how well each mattress leaves pressure that way. If we throw up the results here of the side sleeping results for both mattresses, you'll see that the Lull does a little bit less good of a job of relieving pressure, which kind of makes sense to me. You have more memory foam on the Loom and Leaf. It's a little bit softer, so the Loom and Leaf in this case does relieve pressure a little bit better than the Lull does. All right, quick break, guys. I wanted to let you know that every month we give away a $500 Amazon gift card to one of our lucky YouTube subscribers. If you want a chance to win, all you have to do is leave a comment on this video, ask any question about this video whatsoever, so comment, and then subscribe to our YouTube channel. So all you have to do is comment and then subscribe to our YouTube channel. Then once a month, we're gonna pick one lucky YouTube subscriber to get a $500 Amazon gift card. That's basically it. Let's get back to the video.
Hey guys, Martin here to offer a different perspective. Joe's 5'9", 160. I'm 6'7", 230. I'm a larger person and want to give my experience with these two mattresses. So today we have the Lull and the Loom and Leaf. The Lull for me in terms of firmness was an 8 out of 10. The Loom and Leaf here was a 7.5 out of 10. Now I will note, I'm a larger person than Joe, so definitely these both felt firmer to me than they did to him. In terms of sleeping positions, over on the Lull on my back, actually a very, very nice overall support. My hips sink in, not too far. I feel nice and supported overall. On my side though, some serious pressure on my shoulders and my hips. I'm sinking further than the mattress than Joe did and feeling some pressure there. On my stomach though, at the same time, it's not quite supportive enough for me, so I am bowing at the hips there. On the Loom and Leaf here, on my back, pretty good overall support as well. My hips sinking that kind of top foam layer. On my side, some pressure at first, but I kind of slowly activate that, feel some decent pressure relief in my shoulders and my hips. On my stomach, I probably did more support overall in general. So that being said, I think if you are a heavier back sleeper, both could work for you. It's more what kind of feel you're looking for, more of the balanced foam feel or the classic memory foam feel. If you're a heavier side sleeper, I'd lean more towards the Loom and Leaf. If you're a heavier stomach sleeper, I think you might need a firmer mattress than both these have to offer.
If you sleep with a partner, there's two additional things you're going to want to consider when looking at a mattress. It's motion transfer and edge support. Motion transfer is basically your partner's moving around that side of the bed. Is that motion going to be isolated, or transfer over to you and possibly wake you up at night? Edge support is basically, can you sit towards the edge of the bed? Can you sleep towards the edge of the bed without feeling like you're going to fall off? As far as motion transfer is concerned, I'd give Loom and Leaf the advantage here. It has more memory foam, which does an excellent job at isolating motion. As far as edge support is concerned, they both don't have really good edge support, but I would probably give Lull the slight advantage. It's a little bit firmer and does a little bit better of a job at kind of preventing that rolling off the bed feeling. All right, now the moment you've all been waiting for, which one of these two mattresses can be the best fit for you? As far as who should get the Lull, I think if you just sleep on your stomach, it's the more supportive on your stomach. In my opinion, it's a little bit firmer as well. So if you want something that's just a little bit firmer, it's the firmer of the two for sure. So definitely go for the Lull in that case. If you really just can't decide, it's definitely a lot cheaper. So if you want to just kind of save some money, you really can't decide, Lull is definitely the way to go. And if you want less of that memory foam feel where you don't really sink in too far, that's definitely what you get with the Lull here. As far as who should go for the Loom and Leaf, I think if you sleep on your side, it's the better choice, especially if you're a heavier sleeper. You're not going to bottom out the way you would with the Lull. I think if you like that memory foam feel, you got 4.5 inches of high density memory foam. So you're really going to kind of sink into the mattress a little bit. It takes a while. You feel some initial firmness and then you kind of slowly sink in. Contours very well to the curves of your body. That's more of the feel that you get with the Loom and Leaf. It's also the more durable mattress. So if you're viewing this kind of as a long-term investment, it's definitely the more durable of the two. All right, that's basically it. Hopefully I've given you a good overview of the similarities and differences between these two mattresses. Hopefully the choice is pretty clear. These differences are pretty stark, but if for some reason it's not, a little bit confused, you can just leave a comment below and I can get back to you with a personal recommendation. And if you're just getting started with your mattress research, definitely check out mattressclarity.com. If you want to see a full list of our top picks, simply Google Mattress Clarity Best Mattress. Once again, let me know if you have any questions.